Welcome. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. And let me find our passage quickly as I can. Let's see what So we have just gotten started into the quote blessing that Jacob is giving his sons on his before his departure from this world. And we just dealt with the statement he made to Reuben, which certainly didn't sound like a blessing. I mean, in fact, it was basically telling him why he had lost his birthright and basically his position that he had, his preeminence, and said to him why, and that was kind of where it was at. So now we get on to Shimeon and Levi. Shimeon and Levi are combined. They're the only tribes, the only two brothers that are actually given the same statement. And so here we go. Shimeon and Levi Achim. They're brothers. So they're considered in cahoots with each other constantly. Klei Hamas, weapons of violence, mecherotehem. So again, mecherotehem is not an easy word to translate. This is part of the challenges of this section of the Torah, these passages, but the translation is knives. And I suppose, obviously knives don't have to be weapons of violence. So that's trying to get the sense of what's going on here. So interestingly enough, that sounds like a negative. However, the Targum gives it a different twist, right? So Gavrin, Gibarin, heroic men, Ba'ara Totavuton, in the land of their settlement, Avadu Gvura, they practiced heroism. So clearly, he's giving a positive spin on something that sounds like it isn't necessarily positive. Let's see how Rashi is going to handle this. He's Shimeon and Levi. Shimeon and Levi are brothers. So he says, Be'etzah achat, they were in one advice. Eitzah is advice. In other words, they were completely simpatico al Shechem, regarding the city of Shechem. And that's where we read about the two of them going in and slaughtering the men of Shechem. So the two of them were the ones who were determined to do that particular act. But Al Yosef, and also with regards to Joseph, that they also plotted together regarding Joseph's death, right, about killing Joseph. And he quotes Rashi proves this particular interpretation, right? He says the scripture says Vayomru ish el achiv, okay, that one man said to his brother, and here they're identified as achim, right? So that's one indication that the two of them were the ones who were most responsible for that idea, etc. Va'ata, okay, and it goes on, right? The sentence goes on and says, Va'ata, and now, lechu v'nahargehu, let us go and kill him. Mihem. So who are these two people that said ish el achiv, a man to his brother? Who are they? Who can we identify them with, right? Im tomar Ruvain, if you want to argue, so we're going to go through a process of elimination, right? Should you suggest that Reuven or Yehuda or Judah, that it was one of those two? Hare lo hiskimu harigato. They didn't agree in killing him, neither of them, neither Reuven nor Judah. Reuven, of course, was hoping to restore him, and Judah said, look, there's no benefit in killing him. We should sell him. So they're eliminated. Ha tomar b'nei hashvachot. So, im tomar b'nei hashvachot. So you're now left with the possibility of 4 other brothers who were children of the maidservants of Bilhah and Zilpah. So we got 4 others there. Hare lo haita sinatan shlema. They didn't completely hate him. How do we know that they didn't completely hate him, that they would suggest such a thing? Shine'emar, because it says in the text, Vahu na'ar et b'nei Bilha ve'et b'nei Zilpah. It says very early on about Joseph, how he basically went around with b'nei Bilha, with the sons of Bilha and the sons of Zilpah. So obviously he got along with them pretty much, right? Etc. Yisachar v'Zulum. So we got 2 more children of Leah, Yisachar and Zevulun. Lo hayu midabrim bifnei achehem. They were juniors. They wouldn't have been suggesting things to their seniors, Hagdolim, who were their seniors, mehem, of them. So that's, you're left with simply Shimeon and Levi. That's all you're left with. Al korchacha. So a fortiori, Shimeon v'Levi. You have to say it's Shimeon and Levi. Hem shekra'am avihem achim. They're the ones whose father called them brothers. Plei Hamas, weapons of violence. Omanut shel ritzicha. So this is like the craft, the trade of murder. Hamas, hu biyedchem, it's extortion, right? Hamas is also considered extortion. Hu biyedchem, it is in your hands. You do this kind of stuff. Mi birkat esav he zo. He. That is the kind of behavior of Esau, right? In other words, they've extorted that kind of behavior, of violent behavior from Esau. Zo omanut shalo. That's his craft. That's his trade. He. Va'atem chamastem ota. And you have extorted it from him. So
it says from Esau's blessing.
Okay, thank you. It doesn't say it explicitly. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right, I said it wrongly, right. Mi birkat esav hi. Okay, that is, thank you. Thanks, Lauren. That is taken from the blessing of Esau. There's the blessing of Esau here, birkat esav hi. Sorry. Okay. And you've extorted that from him. Mechirotehem. So Rashi says, Lashon kli zayin. Mechirotehem has some kind of meaning regarding weapons. Saif, so he says, a sword, belashon Yevani, in Greek is, again, apparently is some word that sounds like makir. I'm not familiar with this particular Greek word. And that is actually found in the Midrash. So it's a word borrowed from the Greek. Davar acher, another interpretation, another possibility. Mechirotehem. And this is from the Tanchuma, this interpretation. This is taken from Bereshit Rabbah. Okay. But Eretz, and this follows more the interpretation of the Targum, right? But Eretz Meguratam, okay, in the land of their sojournings, Nahagu Atzman Bechli Hamas, they behaved, right? They behaved themselves with weapons of violence. So, for example, we have in Ezekiel 15, Mechurotecha. So, in other words, the Mechurotehem may have to do more with habitation and not understanding it as a weapon. So we've got this word, Mechorotecha, your habitations, umoladotecha, and the place of your birth, Vezeh Tirgum Shel Onkelos. And he says, and this is how Onkelos translates the Hebrew here. Going on to the next verse. Here we go. Besodam, in their council, Al tavor nafshi, may my soul not enter, may not come in. Okay, may my soul not enter their council. In other words, I don't want to have anything to do with that kind of behavior and planning or plotting. Big halam, and again, parallelism here, indicating poetic language. Big halam in the assembly, al techad kvodi, may my presence not unite, may my presence not join. Why? Ki ba'apam hargu ish, because in their anger they killed a man, uvir tzornam, and when it pleased them, ratzon is to have take pleasure in, something like that. When it pleased them, ikru shor, they hamstrung an ox. Again, highly poetic language here as to what it possibly means. So, besodam, just the one word up there in the Rashi here. Al tavo mashi, may my soul not come. And according to Bereshit Rabbah, ze maaseh Zimri. This is referring to the incident with Zimri, keshenit kaptsu shivto shel Shimon. So remember, this happened later on in the book of Numbers. Zimri was the prince of the tribe of Shimon, much later on during the period of the wilderness, the 40 years wandering. And we read about how about the Moabite or the women or the Midianite women enticed, I think Moabite women enticed the Israelite men, and how many got killed. And most of the ones who were killed were from Zimri. And Zimri, of course, was in grand delictu in front of Moses and Aaron, right? So when Shimon, when the tribe of Shimon gathered together, lahavi et hamidyanit, to bring the Midianite woman, lifnei Moshe, before Moses. And so they were consorting, Zimri was consorting with a Midianite woman for Amrulo, and they said to Moses, Zo asara or muteret. They asked him a halachic question. They said, Rabbi, is this Midianite woman permissible or forbidden? Asura would be forbidden, or muteret, or is she permitted? Okay, in other words, can we marry her? Can we have relations with her? Or can Zimri would have said, can I have relations with her? Im tomar asura, if you say that she is forbidden, but yitro mi hetira alach, the daughter of Jethro, who was also a Midianite, right? Who gave you permission to marry Zipporah, right? Who's a Midianite woman? So it says al yiskar shemi, right? May my name not be remembered. This is Jacob prophesying regarding this. May my name not be associated, badavar, in this matter, in this situation where they came and asked Moses. Shne'emar, and how do we know this? It states Zimri ben Salu. It says Zimri, son of Salu, Nasi Beit Av Lashimoni, who was the chieftain, right, of the tribe of Shimon, of Simeon. But lo katav, and it doesn't say Zimri ben Salu ben Shimon ben Yisrael or ben Yaakov. It doesn't say son of Jacob. So he is not given, when it's mentioned there, it doesn't mention that's Shimon at that time, at that particular moment, to mention that he was the son of Jacob. B'kalam, in their assembly. So what's this assembly? Keshe Yakil Korach. This is when Korach gathered these people together. Shehi Mishivto Shel Levi, and he, of course, is from the tribe of Levi. So remember, Jacob was addressing both Shimon and Levi, right? Et Kol Ha'aida, when he gathered all the community together, Al Moshe, against Moses, but Al Aharon, and against Aaron. So it doesn't mention that Korach was the son. When it says son of Levi, it doesn't, or Yitzhar, son of Levi, it doesn't go on to say son of Jacob or Yisrael. Al techad kvodi, may my honor, something like that, may it not be united, right? Identified. Sham al Yityached, okay, Imahem. So there, in that particular location, may my name not be identified with them. Shemi shene'emar sorry, Imahem Shemo. I think this Yud here is actually a Vav. That let his name not be identified with them. Shene'emar, because then it says there in that incident with Korach, ben Yitzhar, ben Kahat, ben Levi. It goes on to give his genealogy as son of that it's son of Korach, son of Yitzhar, son of Kahat, son of Levi, the Lo Ne'emar ben Yaakov. And there it also doesn't say son of Jacob. Aval b'divrei hayamim, but when it comes to the book of Chronicles, keshenit yachsu b'nei Korach, when the sons of Korach are given their genealogy, and the sons of Korach did not participate in this rebellion. And in fact, we have a number of Psalms in the book of Psalms that are attributed to the sons of Korach, right? Al Haduchan, regarding when they were associated or with the worship, in other words, on the platform, because remember the Levites formed Levitical choirs. So when they are associated with the platform that was in the temple, Ne'emar, there it says, and this is Chronicles, Devei Hayamim, that's the Hebrew term for Chronicles. Aleph would be the first book of Chronicles. There are two books, chapter 6, Vav. It says, Ben Korach, Ben Yitzhar, Ben Kahat, Ben Levi, Ben Yisrael. There it goes on to include Jacob. So here, where the sons of Korach had not participated in that mutiny, and in fact were righteous and worthy people, there it does associate Jacob, right? Al techad kvodi, okay? So he says, may my honor not be united or associated with them. Kavod lashon zachar. So he says, so this word techad is feminine, but kavod, the word kavod, is a masculine word. So kvod lashon zacharhu, it's a masculine word. But al korchacha, and perforce, atat tzarich lefaresh kemidaber el hakavod. So he is speaking. He is speaking to God, I believe, is what he's saying, the honorable one, or he's speaking to his honor, right? In other words, he's sort of addressing it anthropomorphically, right? As if it's something alive. For Omer, and he says to it, Ata kvodi, you my honor, al tityached imahem, do not in fact associate with them. So in other words, it's, I guess we call it a vocative form, where he's addressing, when he says al techad, oh yeah, the reason is techad is second person, yes, it's the second person. You, my honor, do not associate. Otherwise, it would be yached. It wouldn't be this form of the verb. So that's what Rashi is helping us understand, is this particular form of the verb techad, because it's in the second person, as if he's addressing his kavod. So do not associate with them. And he gives an example in Isaiah chapter 14, Lo techad atem bigfura. So there it must also, he's addressing people, okay? Do not associate them in burial, something like that. Okay. Hiba apam hagu ish, and again, this is all, begging for interpretation. For in their anger they killed a man. Elu, okay, I think this is Amur, a chamor, right? The man is referring to, when it talks about man here in the poem, Elu chamor v'anshei Shechem. This is referring to Chamor and the men of Shechem. The einan chashuvim kulam, and they are not considered. They're only considered ela keish echad. They're put together as if they're one person. It's sometimes that we'll refer to things that plural in a singular form. Like sometimes when we talk about man and refer to all human beings. Okay, so it's that kind of grammatical expression. V'chein hu omer begidon, and likewise he says with Gideon in the regarding Gideon in the book of Judges, chapter 6. V'hikita et Midian ki'ish echad. You shall slaughter Midian as one man. In other words, it's a collective expression. V'chein b'Mitzrayim, and also likewise in referring to the Egyptians at the crossing of the Red Sea, right when they drowned. It says, sus ve'rochbo, the horse and its rider, right? Ramah bayam, he has cast into the sea. Zehu midrasho. So that's a midrashic interpretation of this. Upshuto, and he says, but the straightforward interpretation, anashim harbe kore ish. So, okay, he's saying something different here. He's saying the midrash is the midrashic interpretation is that in using that singular form is something to the effect that they're I would have to say considered as one person. They have no more importance than one person, right? So here he says now Rashi's explaining it simply as a collective, right? Kore ish kol echad la'atzmo ba'apam, right? So anashim harbe, when it comes to many people, kore ish kol echad la'atzmo ba'apam, so that he refers to each person. La'atzmo means for himself. Ba'apam hargu kol ish sheka'asu, okay, ka'asu alav. So he's this is the way Safaria understands it, right? That each man on whom they were angry, they killed. So we'll have to try to understand what is going on here. So let me see. Kore, okay. Lashim harbe kore ish kol echad la'atzmo ba'apam. So when he says kol ish echad la'atzmo, he's referring to the people. There's these many people, and in the anger they kill them. Sheka'asu alav, and because he was angry on him. And he's saying in Ezekiel chapter 19, by Yilmad litrof teref Adam teref litrof, he learned how to catch prey. Teref Adam akol. So he says, sorry, teref Adam achal, right? He devoured each individual. So I have to tell you at this point, I'm not certain the point he's making. Lauren, do you have anything that's helpful here?
Well, it says its simple meaning is that many men are called a man, each one individually. Then it says, in their wrath, they, Shimeon and Levi, killed every man with whom they were angry. Similarly, and he learned to attack prey. He devoured men. From Ezekiel.
So and Adam here is singular again. So that is helpful. So thank you. And they willingly, right? Ikru shor, they hamstrung an ox. So here's the interpretation of this. Ratzu la'akor et Yosef. They wanted to hamstring Joseph, shenikra shor, because Joseph is referred to as an ox. So it's a subtle way of referring to Joseph, shenemar, because it says bechor shoro hadar lo. It says the glory bechor shora, the firstborn of an ox, hadar lo is is his glory. In other words, it's talking about the strength, I believe, of an ox, that the ox is something that one associates with power, right? Ikru, akru, or ikro, is a French word, he says, esarte, belaz. So again, I don't know if you have anything helpful in regards the Old French, Lauren. Okay.
No, I'm kind of looking it up, but I'm trying to look it up, but no, I don't have anything. But yeah, there's the J there as jarete.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking it up and I'm finding it with a G. I don't know if that's related.
What's the word?
Well, to hamstring, there it is. So they just spell it, spell it differently.
How
But
do
yeah,
they
it has
spell
that one in there too. Yeah. So it's to hamstring. Let's see. Looking to see if it has any more about it, but
it? Mm-hmm.
I have
So,
to translate
yeah,
it from French
right.
or
Okay.
Latin.
I understood, and I could be wrong here, but I've heard the word hough as in Hough, that has the same idea of preventing someone from being effective. In other words, hamstring an ox makes it impossible for it to attack, right? So anyway, Rashi gives another example from Joshua chapter 11, is Susehem ta'aker. You shall hamstring their horses. And I guess we are going to have to stop here and pick it up tomorrow. So we're in the midst of this statement that Jacob is making to Shimeon and Levi. And again, not exactly sounding positive here. One would not associate this with blessing under normal circumstances. So, and clearly I'm challenged by this, even though I did prepare this and thought I had a better mastery of the Hebrew here with the Rashi. So anyway, I hope.
Two interesting weird things that I found out when I was looking up machir and this French word. The
Yes.
machir word I found related to something that meant sold, which is interesting in light of the Joseph story.
Mm, mm,
And the other word, the hamstring word, was related to a smaller word that meant knee.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
another interesting thing in light of the Joseph story, because they mentioned it in a phrase meaning, bended knee, but
mm-hmm.
but the word, the root was from knee, and then another word was added to mean bended knee. But that was where a phrase was with the similar word, and about thinking about the brothers having to bow down to Joseph,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and which they did.
Mm,
I know
mm.
these aren't exactly like directly connected to
No,
this part of the storyline,
right,
but it interested me because both in looking at both of those words, I found things that were really kind of, to me, connected to the
right,
storyline of in
right,
general of Joseph.
right. Generally, the word la'aker means to uproot. So again, it's detaching the plant from from the ground so that it can't grow anymore, basically, so that it dies. So, but it just depends on the
So I
context.
found something that talked about being sold, and either way, you're taking it from its source and transferring it to
Right.
another
Of
place.
course. And that's a different word. That's the word mechirotahem. Yes. Yes. Limkor with that kaf means to sell something. Yeah. It is a weird word, I can tell you. And as I
Right.
said
I
before,
was using transliteration to look it up, so it may have taken me,
right.
Astray.
I don't know. I think you could say weapons of violence are their trade. Something like Hamas mechirotahem, that they trade in violence. You could certainly say that, and limkor, meaning to sell, would be a reasonable translation of it there. So, all right, I'm going to stop for today,